Since 1994, the Arts Commission has used Young Artists at Work, or YAAW, to offer unique summer apprenticeships to young, aspiring artists around Toledo, Ohio. Teaching diversity, creativity, and job skills, YAAW apprentices get hands-on experience making public murals, saleable artwork, and pretty much anything awesome that you'd want to learn as a young artist. Overall, YAAW encourages teens to use their art to be active in their communities. Issues that we're all concerned about take on a different meaning when you're an artist. YAAW Talk is a podcast about them. You just can't beat the arts in Toledo. It's the topic at and around the clock. YAAW Talk.
Season 2.
Welcome to the YAAW Talk, the podcast about topics that mean the most to young artists. Collaboration is a big part of our lives. In this episode, the apprentices talk about whether or not they collaborate on art, their feelings towards collaboration, and how collaboration affects their artwork. Let's hear what they have to say.
So to kind of change gears a little bit, I know for the zine, there is kind of an option to collaborate with others. So I want to hear about whether or not you guys chose to do that and whether or not you generally collaborate with others outside of YAAW in your art practice.
I did not collaborate with someone on the zine, and I don't think I ever have collaborated with someone. It's something that I've always kind of wanted to do, but I've never sat down and said to someone hey, let's do something.
Yeah, how do you feel about being on the Windows team and having to kind of mesh ideas with people this year, I guess for the first time in YAAW?
Yeah, it's strange because I feel like a lot of people are better at the color palette and the building designs and it's just weird to match them all together.
Yeah, I think definitely I'm sure those of you on the mural team with me would agree that it's interesting to mash everyone's ideas together. I think we're all kind of not sure what our final product's going to look like because there were so many different contributions, and it's interesting to put them all together. I was wondering if you guys have any thoughts on that.
I feel like it gets easier after you work on so many murals. This is my third mural throughout our YAAW. So I did Lucas County Canine Care and Control mural. I forgot what the exact title of it was, but back in 2019, then the Ottawa Tavern mural last year. Now we're doing the Imagination Station mural. So
it's just second nature by now.
Kinda.
I always think it's nice to see other people's perspectives and ideas, and also see different people's skills and what they're good at, and what you yourself might be missing, and what someone else has.
I agree with that.
It makes a more complete piece in my head.
Exactly. Cohesive
is
what I kept thinking about, having different eyes and perspectives. Exactly, you'll miss something if you're just working by yourself.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
I don't collaborate a lot. I wanted to this year, or not this year, but I wanted to for the zine. I was gonna make a video with someone, but nobody else really wanted to do video editing, which I understand. So yeah, I didn't collaborate then, but I think it's fun to do that, see how other people would handle certain situations in creating. Collaborated with my friend and stuff. She draws, does digital, so we've done that. Worked on like world creating and stuff like that, characters. Yeah, I like collaborating, but I do usually kind of do it on my own time, and don't really collaborate a lot, but I like it.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, when you're saying no one else wanted to do video editing, it's there's so many layers of collaboration, whereas you need to find someone who actually wants to do the same thing as you, or compromising and all the elements of collaboration that can make it a lot more challenging than just feeling like you have your own motivation and way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I definitely feel what you said when you want to collaborate with people, but you never really find the chance to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where I find myself a lot of the times. When I'm looking back on it, I'm oh yeah, collaborating is fun. I want to collaborate. But usually when I'm making art, it's by myself, and that just is sort of how it happens.
And I feel like everyone has a vision of what they want to create, And with collaboration, it's always that scary thing, like, what if I mess up something for them? What if they don't like the final product because of what I did? So,
And I'm
there's
very much
anxiety.
Yeah, and I'm very much of like a perfectionist. Like even on school projects that I like fully don't want to do, I'm like, no, it has to be this way. And so there's things like that. Yeah, it's like small things where you don't have to think about when like you're creating on your own. So it's easier, but getting out there is definitely important to collaborate. And yeah.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, it's like similar to working with a client. Like how in our team we're working with the Imagination Station, and even though they aren't contributing to the creative process, in the sense of like providing their own kind of vision, we have to run everything by them, and so you kind of feel that pressure of is the design good enough? Am I executing their vision? And then also kind of the editing process of someone else seeing your work.
Yeah.
So I know many of you, this is not your first year, so thinking back to the zine last year, are there any changes you feel like you saw a lot of one type of art last year, or a certain theme that you feel like probably won't be in it this year or will have changed this year?
And I kind of feel like there was like plenty of writing last year. I forget how much, but I'm not sure how much is going to be this year, but I feel like maybe less, maybe more. It's hard to say though.
Yeah.
I know that there's at least a couple writing pieces, but I definitely think that there's significantly less writing than there was last year.
Yeah, because I remember we did a whole workshop last year on writing, and I think that was poems. I'm not sure about like story stuff, but definitely poems.
I know that like people were saying that last year's zine was very sad because they're all depressed.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, I think this year's zine will be more hopeful and like, I guess more analysis instead of just like dumping of feelings. It's like, what do those feelings mean and how can we move on and get better from this whole situation?
Yeah.
Do you think some of that theme change comes with people being in person?
Definitely has a lot to do with like finding where you belong and like, I guess rejoining, like we said, rejoining who we belong to, especially people who've been in the program before. It's like we know each other, but gotta get used to it again.
Yeah, I think that was our goal with the theme of finding your place, where you can definitely take it in a negative direction, or sometimes that can be really difficult or it can be a hard journey, but I think generally people associate that with like the positivity of like identity and finding the place that you belong. So I think that was the goal.
I feel like it's pushed me to like want to be better, and it's also inspired me a lot. Like there's so many talented people here, and it's really inspiring. Just like even look around the room and just see what other people are working on, because there's so many different styles all in one room, and it's been really inspiring.
Yeah. I also think there's like a certain atmosphere that like a bunch of artists in one room has. It can be definitely, I've been in some rooms where it's definitely stressful, but like here I feel like there's just that overall like there's that community. Like I know that if I'm struggling, I can go over to like Miranda and be like, hey, does this color look good? Or like a lot of times I find myself getting reassured that my art is okay. Like, whereas like when I'm at home and I'm like judging my art being all whatever, it's just like, there's just that opinion, in my opinion, of like, ew, this sucks. And no one can be like, no, it's like good, keep going.
In this episode, YAAW apprentices talked about how the pandemic has affected them as an artist, how their work practices have changed, and about their feelings towards different places reopening. Thanks for listening.